Hello. I was away from my computer and didn't realize that the song was so close to being over, but there it is. Um, Let me see here. We'll pop on over here. So yeah, that's been a hot minute since I've done a solo stream. Um, Kind of had to remind myself of what all I needed to get in a row. First of all, doubly so because I'm already one edible deep. I took it about less than half an hour ago. I'll space them out accordingly. But yeah, this is a stream I've been meaning to do for a very long time, but never really got around to it because just didn't have the right mindset and just it never really seemed like it was the right time or that I was in the right place for it. And today doesn't really feel any different, but I'm I did notice it was apparently my 10-year anniversary on Twitter, and I, for whatever reason, I was like, "Hey, I should celebrate?" Question mark. I don't know if that's something I really want to celebrate, but here I am, and here we go. I don't really know how this is gonna go. I don't expect I don't expect to get too crazy, but we'll see what happens. Not that I really not that I really get crazy when I get away. It's usually I just kind of like to watch things and then I get sleepy and go to bed. That's usually what happens. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So the plan was to boot up Tier Maker and just kind of start doing some stuff. Um, I haven't done a Tier Maker stream probably since the end of Brick by Brick when Wordsy and I did the whole Lego game tier list. But I've always enjoyed it. I think they're fun. They elicit a certain amount of hot takes sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And yeah, I think they're fun. So we're gonna dive in. There was a few of these that I kind of wanted to start with, mostly in the food region. I think a fruit tier list is probably a good place to start because everybody likes fruit except for the people who don't. And those people, let's see. A bunch of these I'm probably gonna end up putting on the never had this section. I am not an exotic eater when it comes to fruits. This whole thing also makes me super nervous about like I'm window capturing Chrome, but I'm still like nervous about display capturing something and giving away my passwords or something. I know that won't happen, but it's one of those things that's in the back of my mind at all times when I'm doing this kind of thing. So anyway, with that little with that little paranoid tangent out of the way, green apples. When I was a kid, I really liked golden delicious apples. I thought they were the best. Apples are pretty good. I think I got to put both apples in A tier just because really the differentiation between the two has become less and less as I've gotten older. When I was really young, we did a thing in school where we actually like taste tested a bunch of different kinds of apples. And I remember the Golden Delicious were the ones I liked the most. And I think it was the Granny Smith ones that I absolutely hated. And nowadays, like, it all just tastes like apple. Like, I don't really care that much. Just give me an apple. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, these days apples are a very good fruit. Very solid, solid A tier. Apricot. I want to say that the apricot is like the the poor man's peach. I don't actually see peaches on here. Where? Oh, there they are. Hey, Dizzy. How's it going? No, apricots are really their own thing. I've eaten enough apricots. They're all pretty good. Um, I think I may have to adjust my scale here. Yeah, apples in B tier. Like I was saying, very reliable. Very when I get an apple, I know what I'm getting into. Because I think apricots are better than apples. I need background music for this. Hold on. It is weirdly quiet. I think apricots are slightly better than apples. I think they're a better fruit. I would rather have an apricot than an apple, but I wouldn't consider that an S tier. Let's see. I gotta get some music. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little louder. Okay. So yeah, apricot, good fruit. I could envision a better fruit, but apricots are pretty good. I like them. Avocado. Avocado is a weird one because I don't relate it to fruit. It is a fruit. It's like tomatoes. I don't consider a tomato a fruit. It's a savory fruit. So I don't really know how it fares up on here. It's very good. I do enjoy a good avocado now and then, but it's one of those things that I don't really eat it by itself. I'm not just gonna bust out an avocado and go to town with a spoon. It's usually I'm putting it in something or making something with it, so it's pretty good. I can envision it. I can envision a better fruit than that, but A is for avocado, so. Bananas. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think bananas are S tier. The only thing that could make them better is if there was no peel or the peel was edible. Because you can just get one, eat the whole thing, it's delicious, and then it's gone. The peel has some cleanup required, which is the only negative I can really say about it. But I do love me a good banana. Very distinct taste. Nothing else really tastes like banana. An artificial banana flavor doesn't taste like banana. Anyway, I am going to take the other half of this edible. Ironically, it is pear flavored. I've done one. There's two in this package. So I've got that package. I'm taking the second one now. And then I do have another package afterward, depending on how this goes. I've been there before, so I know I know what my tolerance is. So no need to worry about me. I know where I'm at. But has it hit yet? No, not really. It's only the last one I took was about half an hour, a little more ago. So generally speaking, probably won't hit me for like another 15-20 minutes or so. But I'm going to take the second one. I like these ones because they're really good. I bought them from the store, and the guy there told me, if you really want them to work, put them under your tongue and let it dissolve there for a bit. And these ones are perfect for that. and hit like probably twice as hard when they do that. So it's a good time. I've never actually been high with anyone else before. Well, no. Once with like some of my family around Christmas, but I did like half an edible, like it was nothing. So I've never been high with other people before. Part of me is kind of weirded out by it, and I feel like I may not trust myself, but on the other hand, it's like, whatever. Like, I've been drunk around people before. It probably is more fun. I find things a lot funnier. That's for sure. Anyway, blackberries. Blackberries are a C tier fruit. I don't like them. There are better berries, and I like blackberry flavored things, but the blackberries themselves are kind of I could get rid of them. You feel like God is staring at you. See, I've heard a lot of people say that like when you get high with weed, you get paranoid, and I really never really felt like that. Like I guess I'm a little bit more paranoid about like minor things, but it really doesn't hit me hard. Like I'm not cowering in the corner thinking like, oh my God, the world is against me. It's not that kind of paranoia, so that was one thing that always kind of weirded me out and kind of made me leery about weed, but no, I've found that I'm pretty happy with it, so. Blackberry jam is very good. Black currants. I've never had black currants on their own. I think I may have had blackcurrant jam or jelly at some point, but I mean, who knows? Blueberry. Blueberry, B is for blueberry. I would eat a blueberry over a blackberry any day, but they're still just kind of. Blueberries don't really taste like anything. They taste velvety, and that's all I can think of. Like, I just feel like I'm chewing on a velvet rug or something. It's just, I don't know. Unless they're really good, like, sweet, ripe blueberries, which I have never. So, shrug. Cantaloupe. Does anybody really like cantaloupe? Honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to put cantaloupe in B tier. Because honestly, I think cantaloupe is alright. Cantaloupe and honeydew get a bad reputation. Everybody is like, those are the bad parts of the fruit salad. Especially honeydew. I like honeydew. In fact, I probably like it more than I like cantaloupe. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. Cantaloupe and honeydew, pretty decent. They're okay. Not as bad as their reputation would precede them. Coconut. Again, coconut is one of those things that exists outside the realm of fruit in my mind. It just can't. I have a hard time categorizing it with the rest of this stuff. Have I ever eaten like fresh raw coconut before? Maybe once or twice, but I've never just eaten a chunk of it. I don't know. It's a weird one. I'll put it in C tier. C is for coconut. It's okay. Yeah, I mostly have dried coconut too, but it's usually like with something, like it's a garnish on top of chocolate or something else, or like coconut shrimp, for example. Coconut shrimp are awesome, but it's just dried coconut. All your coconut you've had is via Lamingtons. What is Lamington? Ah, I see. Interesting. Eating almond joy right now. It's it's not bad. It's it's okay. Some people hate it, and that's fine. I get it, but I think it's okay. Cherries. Uh, cherries are D tier. Are they? No. Every time I see like a bowl of cherries, I don't really want them. They're Nobody likes dealing with cherry pits. The taste is they never taste enough like cherry that I want. And I know artificial flavors never really line up so harsh. It's just I don't know. I've never eaten a cherry where I've been like that was a good cherry. It's mostly just been like yeah, it's all right. It's it's a fruit. Cranberries. I'm tempted to put cranberries in D tier as well because I don't think I've ever had just a cranberry on its own. At least not like a fresh one. But I've had like cranberry juice and I've had cranberry pie. I've had cranberry flavored things. And it's got that bitterness on the end that it's just really hits me hard and I don't like it at all. I don't know. No, like they're not really meant to be eaten on their own. I don't think they're very good. I'm gonna say they're D tier because I don't really like the cranberry taste. And dates? Never had a date. You're so lonely. Anyway. I'd be curious to have a date. Because I honestly have no reference for what a date even tastes like. I'd like to try one at some point. Dragon fruit. I've only had dragon fruit once in my life, and it tasted like nothing. It has the texture of a kiwi, but it had like almost no taste whatsoever. I love the way it looks. The color is really striking, although the rind inside is, or I guess the rind is pink, and then all the insides are white with little black seeds. It's really cool, but it just really didn't taste like anything. I think it gets a good reputation because of its name. It sounds cool. Well, it's a dragon fruit. And it looks cool, but very underwhelming. A date is a super raisin? I know kind of what they are. Well, are they? Do they just hang on the tree and then dry out? No, they wouldn't dry out if they were attached to the tree. No, raisins are on here. Why are raisins aren't a fruit? Are they? I guess. I don't know. Again, it's one of those things that's like, I categorize this as a fruit because it has, you don't pluck it off the tree like that. But I guess it is. A raisin is a fruit. Anyway, durian. I've never had durian on its own. I've only had durian probably like once or twice in my life. And I don't remember anything about it, so I'm for safety, I'm gonna put it there. Fig. Never had a fig. Seen raisin in fruit salad? I've seen raisins in salads before. In a fruit salad, though, that's interesting. Yeah, never eaten a fig. Not on my own. Not on its own, I should say. I've had my share of fig Newtons, which are okay. Even a fig Newton is like a C tier cookie. I don't know. I'd be up for trying a fig. I do want to be clear, like there's really nothing on here that I would be like, ew, I don't want to taste that. With the exception of maybe the durian, because I know how they smell. But Everything else is on the table. Gooseberry? Never had a gooseberry. I would love to try a gooseberry, but they're I think I have some gooseberry jam somewhere. Yeah, I've heard gooseberries are very good, but I've never had them. And like, let's get grapefruit out of the way right now. D tier. I hate grapefruit. I've never eaten a grapefruit on its own. Maybe it's better fresh, but everything that is grapefruit flavored is terrible. Always, all of it. I don't care. It's my hot take. Grapefruits are awful. Get them out of here. Yeah, I think I would like gooseberries because I love me some grapes. Red grapes are definitely A tier. Again, they have that weird. I kind of get the same thing as from blueberries, where it's like they have that kind of velvety texture to them, and that's all I think about when I drink them. I was reading your grapefruit juice comment. I don't drink grapes. I eat them. But I all I can think about is that velvety texture on the outside of them, and it just gets to me a little bit. But red grapes, very good. White grapes are absolutely S tier. I love white grapes. I could destroy a box of white grapes, no problem. I love the taste of grapes. I love, especially white ones. I don't know what it is. I don't really drink a lot of wine. I don't really drink much alcohol at all, but if I'm drinking wine, it's going to be a white wine, absolutely. It's delicious. I love it. Same with kiwis. Kiwis are an S tier fruit. A little inconvenient to eat, but they punch way above their weight class as far as flavor goes, for what they are, because dang. Strawberry kiwi flavored anything is fantastic. Kiwi on its own is great. I used to just cut it in half and eat it with a spoon when I was younger. Kiwis are okay in my book. They have a weird texture on the outside, but you know, that's okay. Sometimes you have a weird texture on the outside. I have a weird texture on the outside, but inside, I like to think I'm pretty sweet. That's how kiwis work. Anyway. Lemon, lime. Lemon, lime. Lemon, lime. Where do I want to put lemon, lime? Lemons and limes, you don't eat them on their own. I guess you can, but most people don't. They're very useful, though. They add a lot of flavor. Honestly, I like lemon. I got no problem with lemon at all. And lime. Is lime an S tier, though? I don't think it is. I'll put them both there. Limes and lemons can both float in A tier. On their own, I would say not really, but they're very useful in other applications, and I do enjoy the taste of lemon and lime. Authentic lime flavor. Hey, I've got a... You know, every time I go to my fridge, I'm like, oh, I got one of those like little lime or lemon shaped containers in my fridge. I don't think I actually do. Because like 3 or 4 times now I've gone for it and there's nothing there. Take lime flavor. Okay. I'll put lime in S tier. I think I do think limes are a better fruit than lemons. I think limes are a little bit more exotic, so to speak. They have a more tart taste that I like. So I do think they're a better... All inside jokes and references aside, I think it is a good fruit. An S tier fruit. You could tell times I said that. Lychee? I don't think I've ever had lychee. Is that lychee? I've never seen it spelled like that before. It's important, and Paper Mario also makes it the best. Limes are good. Yeah, I thought it was spelled lychee. I have never seen it spelled that way before. Weird. I've never had one. It looks weird, and it looks like it would taste very strong, but never had one. Mango. Mango is definitely A tier. I think mangoes taste incredible. They're good in almost everything. I've had slices of mango on sushi, and it's amazing. Oh, both spellings are accurate. I kind of assumed it was. But yeah, mango, fantastic. Mango would be higher if it was easier to get. Like, I've never done it myself, but I have heard horror stories about people trying to chop up mangoes before. They fight back. So mangoes would be higher if they were easier to cut, basically. If they were easier to eat, enjoy in a personal scale. Lychee is the sole member in the genus Lychee. Makes sense. Nectarine. I don't think I've ever had an apricot, a nectarine, and a peach in like a close relationship to each other. Like, I've never eaten them with reference to each other. So to me, they all just kind of taste like the same thing. They are pretty good. I think I like nectarines more than I like apricots. But I'll put them in the same spot because they are both very good fruits. Very similar taste. The pit is, you know, it is what it is, but they taste good. Orange. Where do I want to put orange? Orange is a C tier fruit, I think. It's fine, but it's overrated. It's kind of a pain to eat. You gotta peel the whole thing. You gotta, you know, I guess that's all you really need to do. You just need to peel it, but still. I think oranges have had their time in the sun. I think there are better fruits. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Papaya. Huh. I don't think I've ever had a papaya. You're coming to my house. Look. Oranges are fine. They're fine. But that's all they are. They're fine. I like the smell. I like the taste. But unless it's a Christmas orange, I don't really want to deal with them, to be honest. Come out, I just want to talk. You're trying to sniper wolf me. References. I am not coming out. Alert on my phone at the same time I said that. Spooky. Passion fruit. Passion fruit I've had in other things. I think I've had like passion fruit juice before, but I've never had a passion fruit. Peach. Do I have a peach in S tier? Yeah, I think peach edges out. I would love to try passion fruit like on its own. I think it would be a very, from what I know, it's a very strong, sweet flavor, which is awesome. That sounds great, but I've never had one on its own. Passion fruit shochu cocktail. That does sound pretty good. But yeah, peach is S tier, absolutely. I think so, it's similar to an apricot or nectarine, but a peach has so much more power. It's got like, brand recognition. Everybody knows what a peach is. Everybody knows what a peach tastes like. peach flavored things like peach iced tea, peach juice. There's a Canadian thing, but in Tim Hortons here has a peach juice that they sell. It's like their own brand of peach juice, and it is incredible. Like, that stuff disappears out of my hand when I have it. I always drink all of it before I finish like a third of my sandwich or whatever else I ordered, and I'm just like, how did this happen? It's very addictive. But yes, peaches are amazing. I would love to have millions of peaches. I think a nectarine might actually have a stronger taste as like a raw fruit, but peach flavoring also kind of edges it up a little bit, in my opinion. People always look at me like I'm weird because I love peach flavored things so much, but I love them peaches. Pear. Does anybody really like pears? I can't think of the last time I actually had a pear. I've had pear flavored things. There's pears in like the little fruit cocktails that you get. I think pears are okay. Yeah, they're very close to an apple. Like I said, I haven't had a raw pear in a really long time. I think you would S tier pears. There are very good types of pear. That's true. I believe you. Just like apples, pears have many different types, and from what I understand, some are better than others. Yeah, I could see pears being pretty good. I kind of like the pear taste. I say as the edible that I ate was literally pear flavored. Japanese pears are great. I should go to Japan when I have $1 million to spend. Persimmon. I was about to say I've never had a persimmon before, but I think I have. And honestly, I remember not liking it very much. It was like a tomato. It was weird. I don't know. I remember not liking a persimmon. I think I've only had it once, but that's where I'm putting it. Pineapple. I think pineapples are S tier. Pineapple is great because it is the only fruit that eats back. I remember a long time ago, I sat down with just like a box of pineapple, and I was just eating these pineapple chunks, and then all of a sudden I was like, why is my mouth so sore? And like I started like checking my saliva, and I was bleeding on the inside of my mouth, and I was like, what is happening? And so I looked it up, and it turns out that pineapple has an enzyme in it that actually breaks down our tissue. And if you eat enough of it, it will start doing that in your mouth. So, consume pineapple responsibly. But it is very good. Yeah, the pineapples digest you. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't recommend eating a lot of it in one sitting. I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that pineapple on pizza is fine, and in fact, quite good. If you keep a pineapple chunk on your hand, it starts burning. That's terrifying. But it tastes very good, so yeah. But yeah, pineapple on pizza is great. Pineapple pretty much anywhere is good. Like fruit salad, pineapple's usually one of the first things that goes. So yeah, very, very good. Plum. Have I eaten a plum? I'm sure I have at some point. Plums are forgettable. I have eaten plums before. I remember them being okay. Not, I don't, I wouldn't pass on a plum, I guess, but it's not something I would go out of my way for. Pomegranate. Pomegranate is one of those things I've always wanted to try, but I've never been brave enough or had the patience to figure out how to eat it raw. So I've had lots of pomegranate flavored things, but I've never had a pomegranate itself. So I gotta slide that one into that category. I would love to. I see them at the store. I could get one, but it's weird. It's crazy inside there. It scares me. I'm sure I would love it. It looks great. It's that perfect red flavor. A tier. Well, in honor of you, I'll put it in A tier. Anything pomegranate flavor I've had is great. I enjoy the flavor. Pomelo, never had. Can safely say I have no idea what that thing tastes like. Raspberry. Raspberry is an A tier, I think. Is it an A tier? No, I'll put raspberry in S tier, I think. Strawberries in A tier. Because I think I've come to learn that especially just the raw fruit, I would rather have raspberries than strawberries. Strawberries tend to be very tart and sour, unless they're very well ripened, very sweet. And so usually I have that memory of biting into it and being like, go A tier because they get moldy so fast. I thought about putting them in A tier at first, but there was a thing that I used to do that I will never forget at my grandma's house. She had a huge garden in her house, at her house, and she would go and pick fresh raspberries. And I will always remember in a little dish getting a handful of fresh raspberries. Then you take some brown sugar, brown or white sugar, but I think brown sugar tastes a little better. Pour it on top, and then you pour like fresh cream or even just cream on top, and you eat it, and it like melts the sugar and you eat it all together. It was so good. And that is one of the memories from my grandma that I will always hang on to. And so for me in S tier, like whenever I think of raspberries, I think of eating that, and it's like, oh, that tastes good. Yeah, I don't know. Strawberries taste sour to me most of the time, and it's just, again, I love the strawberry flavor, but in actuality, strawberry and raspberry artificial flavors are basically the same thing. So it's, looking at it strictly from the raw fruit, I'd rather have a raspberry than a strawberry. Red currant, I'll put next to the black currants. I've never had a currant. Starfruit. Starfruit. I don't think I've had a starfruit. I feel like I can imagine what a starfruit tastes like, but I can't put my finger on it. Like, I can't describe it. Maybe I have had starfruit before. I don't know. It's not enough that I can remember what it tastes like, so it's probably not really worth remembering. Tangerine. I think I've had a tangerine before. I mean, I'm pretty sure a tangerine is kind of just like a big orange. That's what it is in my mind. I've had it before, I'm sure. But I'm going to put it in C tier next to its cousin, because I do believe they taste very similar. Watermelon. Oh, man. Watermelon S tier. Watermelon is pretty good. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've had good watermelon. It's been a long time since I've had any watermelon. But also watermelon is another one of those artificial flavors that I'm like, yeah, if I see something watermelon flavored, I'm probably going to go for that, because it's like peach. It's just one of those kind of off flavors. It's kind of an offshoot from like the main branch of flavors, like your cherry, orange, lemon kind of thing. And it's when it's peach or watermelon, it's like, ooh, that looks fancy. But yeah, watermelon is also very refreshing on a hot day, and it's been a while since I've had any, but it's got to be good. Watermelon is very overrated. Yeah, I think so. It really doesn't taste like much. It's just, I mean, it tastes like it's a lot of water. That's kind of all that it is. But it can be very good. I think it has to be a good watermelon though, like a big watermelon, so it gets nice and red in the middle. Like smaller watermelons, I think aren't as good because they don't have the same kind of ripeness. They don't really taste as strongly. I don't know. It's been a long time. Asian pear, I've never had. Yeah, I gotta put it in here. I should try it because according to Dizzy, they are S tier, but I've never had one. I think I've had like Asian pear flavored things, like Asian Japanese snacks kind of thing, like a drink or something. But guava, never had a guava. Looks good, but never eaten one. Blood orange, I've never just eaten a blood orange. And I don't really know what difference the taste is. I don't know how they're supposed to taste any different than a regular orange. I think I've had blood orange flavored things before, but again, it's one of those things that's like, I haven't had the original. I have no frame of reference for this, really. A custard apple? What is that thing? It looks like an apple with dragon scales. And that, like a lotus flower thing when you cut it open. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. It looks too challenging. Ground cherry? I don't even know what those are. Cherries that are grown on the ground? Question mark? Kumquat. Have I actually eaten a kumquat? I feel like I have. They're like very small oranges. Yes, I'm sure I've had kumquats before. They're not very good. It's a very tiny citrus that are like, each one is like grape sized, maybe a little bigger than grape. And when you can just eat the whole thing, like rind and all. And it's like, I just remember it tasting very orange-like. Maybe like closer to lemon than to orange on like a citrus scale. Or I guess, no, closer to orange than lemon, I should say. Tasting more like lemon than an orange. But it still has that familiar taste, and the texture isn't very good when you're eating a whole one of those things. I could be completely wrong. I may be fabricating this entire opinion, but that is where it lies. So, mulberry. Never had a mulberry. They look enormous. Probably similar to a blackberry. A very mid fruit. Raisins. Oh, raisins, raisins, raisins. They're okay. When I was a kid, I loved raisins. Like, one of my favorite things to eat when I was younger. When I was very young. Just raisins all the time. I had boxes of raisins with me constantly. And then after that, I was like, I don't think I want to look at raisins anymore. And so I really didn't eat very many of them. Occasionally, I'll have like a little box of the glossettes. They're chocolate covered raisins, and those are pretty good. I enjoy the good chocolate covered raisin, but I don't really eat a lot of raisins on their own. I think they're fine, but I don't know if I'd go out of my way. Jackfruit. I don't think I've had a jackfruit. I've heard you can use a jackfruit to simulate like the texture of meat. in many YouTube cooking videos, but I'm not a vegetarian, and so I don't need to do that, and I don't think I'd want to do that. Anyway, mangosteen. I don't even know where to start with that. That looks wild. Rambutan, same category. You can go right on down next to the jackfruit, because I don't know what you are. Sour cherries can go with cherries in D tier. Just, I would rather have most other fruits than have a cherry, honestly. White currants are gonna go with the other currants. I refuse to accept mangosteen as a real fruit, not just as something awful mean. Yeah, it's one of those weird words. Mangosteen and rambutan. Strange fruits. To me. Wherever they come from, I have no idea. I'm sure they're a very normal and delicious thing, but around here you don't see many mangosteens. Let's go ahead and save this. Root. All right. Isn't there a thing that lets you like download the picture? I can work through that later. Alright, so that was the fruit tier list. It's only natural. We shore up on the other side of the vegetarian highway and do the vegetable. I'll go with the same. Whoops. I will make it the same as the previous one. I'll change F tier to haven't tried it. Alright. Hello, TT. How's it going? I am gonna get... yeah, it's been over half an hour. I'm gonna get the next edible going, but I can start discussing the artichoke. I've never had an artichoke on its own. I think I've had like pickled artichoke hearts before, and those are pretty good. Artichoke dip, obviously, I've had that. I've had things with artichoke in them, and I've always enjoyed it. But I don't know. Unsure. Artichoke goes in B tier because I don't really know where else to put it. Arugula. Does anybody actually like arugula? Like, I feel pretty safe putting arugula in D. I don't know. There are way better greens. Arugula just feels unnecessary. I don't want it. Avocado is... yeah, avocado is on both. I'm sorry, avocado. You can't be both a vegetable and a fruit. And tomato gets a pass. But... asparagus. A is for asparagus. I actually like asparagus. It has to be cooked right with a lot of... preferably cooked in like butter, fried in butter with some salt. That's some good asparagus. But it can be used very well. It can also be prepared very badly, but more often than not, I'm happy to eat asparagus. I think it's fine. Avocado. Well, now hold on. Because we're not talking about fruits, we're talking about veggies. Now, avocado may be... I think I put it in A tier. an A tier fruit, but isn't an S tier vegetable? I think it is. You know, TT, that is an excellent way to put it. This, culinarily, a tomato is a vegetable, but botanically, it's a fruit. Very, very true. Avocado, I would say, also fits in the same category, because it was weird to see it on a fruit tier list, because I don't put it in the same category, but anyway, avocado I think is an S tier vegetable. It goes with everything. Like, I really can't think of something that's like, if you put avocado in it, it's going to become disgusting. I mean, obviously, then, like, crazy things, like you don't put it in your coffee and it's going to taste good. Although, you never know. But, like, any, like, dip or salad or anything like that, avocado usually makes it better. Or at least adds something to it. So I think as a vegetable, avocados are S tier because they're delicious and they go with everything. Yeah, that is true. Broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts are all the same plant, but harvested differently. But I would argue they also taste all very differently, and I have different opinions about all of them. So let's get down there. Beets. I don't eat a lot of beets. My mom makes, or my grandma used to make some really good pickled beets. Actually, pickled beets are quite good. But I don't eat a lot of beets on their own, so I'll put them in B for beets. Bell peppers are a D tier. I don't care what anybody says. Bell peppers are terrible. Bell peppers on their own have the worst texture in the world. I hate it. That, like, there is something about the crunch and the texture and taste of a bell pepper that is just foul to me. I can't do it. I remember when I was a kid, I was like over at my friend's house, and for a snack, we just like cut up an orange bell pepper and ate strips of it, and it was disgusting. I hated it. I don't like it. If you chop them up fine and cook them with something, I'm fine. Something like fajitas, I'm okay with that. I'll eat it, but I'd prefer something else. If it's finely chopped, fine. And I understand that bell peppers add flavor, but raw, I can't stand them. I would want nothing to do with them. Ugh. Hate them. Broccoli is A tier. Some people love raw bell pepper, and that's fine. More power to you. There's something about them that is just disgusting to me. I have no idea what it is, but it's always been there. I've always hated them. I used to hate onions too. But I think that was before I was older and realized what onions actually taste like and what they do to a dish. How essential they are, and so I kind of got over that. And now I love onions. Broccoli is A tier. I don't think there's any argument over that. Broccoli is a fantastic vegetable. It's great raw. It's great cooked. Especially if you're cooking it in a sauce, the sauce will get up in between all the little buds and get all saturated in there, in like a beef and broccoli. Oh, it's amazing. Broccoli is a fantastic vegetable. In fact, no. I think it'll stay in A tier. There are still other vegetables I would reach for first on like a vegetable tray, but broccoli is very solid. Brussels sprouts I will easily put in a B. I think Brussels sprouts are fine. They can be very delicious if they are prepared correctly. I guess they're kind of gross, just raw. They kind of just taste like a little mini cabbage. which I don't really like cabbage a whole lot. But you can cut them in half, you can fry them, you can throw some salt and pepper on them, something like that, and they can be very good. Just like asparagus. They can be prepared badly, they can be prepared well, but when they're prepared well, they're pretty good. Butternut squash. I really don't have much of an opinion on butternut squash. I think it's fine. It has very good uses, but on the whole, it's kind of just there. Yeah, I can't think of much else to say about butternut squash. Very good texture. I like the texture of butternut squash. I had some like butternut squash ravioli from a restaurant quite a while ago. I don't remember where it was from, but that was pretty good. Cabbage. No, I don't like cabbage. Cabbage in any state is just not really that good to me. I haven't had sauerkraut in a very, very long time. As a kid, I hated it. These days, I might be more appreciable to a good sauerkraut. I don't know. I'll have to test it at some point. I think I'd be okay with it. But pretty much anything else that has anything to do with cabbage, I don't like. I don't like raw cabbage. I don't like... My mom makes cabbage rolls, usually for like holiday meals. And I've never really liked those either. It's just like... The meat mixture that she puts in it is fantastic, but like the cabbage just tastes like this wet and oily film. Is just ew. I don't like it. Don't like cabbage. Carrots, I think are S tier. Like I said, there are other fruit. There are other vegetables I would reach for before broccoli on a vegetable tray, and carrots are one of them. Baby carrots are ubiquitous these days. They're everywhere, and they're good. Full-size carrots are underrated on their taste. They can get very sweet and much stronger kind of carroty taste out of them than like the baby carrots do, and they're very good. If you've never... Back when I was younger and my grandma had her garden, I remember going out there, picking some carrots, bringing them back to the sink, washing all the dirt off of them, and then just eating them. Pulling a carrot right out of the ground and eating it, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. I wish I could go back to that. Actually, my mom is building a garden in her yard, so I very may well have fresh carrots yet again. But yeah, carrots are great. Same with cauliflower. I don't know how controversial an opinion this is, but I love cauliflower. I'll take cauliflower over broccoli any day. I don't know what it is about it. It has a completely different texture. Cauliflower really has its own texture to it, and I love that texture. Like when I pull it apart and it breaks off into little pieces, and it's just like, it's delicious. I love a good cauliflower. I can snack on that stuff all day long. It looks better than it tastes. It doesn't really taste like anything. It is a very bland vegetable. Yeah, it doesn't really taste like much, but I love it. I love the taste of cauliflower. Usually it's like dipped in ranch or something like that if I'm eating it raw, but it's also good cooked. I've baked. I remember rolling a bunch of cauliflower in breadcrumbs and baking it, and that was really good. Like the breadcrumb mix had like garlic powder and stuff in it. That was pretty good. Cauliflower is very good. Favorite size is cauliflower and broccoli with cheese sauce. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Sounds delicious. I am okay with that. Celery. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's not really a side. Doesn't have to be a side. Celery, I think, is C tier. Celery is fun when you're a kid, but once you get older, you realize it's kind of... I don't know. Celery doesn't have a whole lot of a taste to it, but you know what celery tastes like. And I've had, like, I remember putting, like, celery seeds into... Or I think I bought some celery seeds as a spice once, and it was so much celery. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'm okay with putting celery down there. It's... Meh. Very common side with some kind of meat and mashed potatoes. Yep. That sounds like that's exactly where I would put it. Since I'm an Albertan man, so probably next to a steak more than anything. If I had $65 to spend on a steak. Anyway. Yeah, celery is a C tier. It's fun when you're a kid. When you grow up, it is a lot less fun, and I've never eaten a stick of celery without getting the strings stuck between my teeth, and whenever I remind myself of that, I get angry. So, I'm gonna put it in C tier, because it could be worse. I can stand eating celery. The rest of the stuff is like, it's no good. I guess maybe arugula should be up there too, but nah. Carn. Good old carn on the cob. Corn is pretty good. Yeah, I think corn is S tier. There's very few corn things I can think of that aren't, like, good. Like, corn on the cob is a bit of an ordeal to get or to make, but it's pretty good. It's a bit messy, but it's a good delivery system for butter. Popcorn is great. Cornbread is great. Corn kernels. Yeah, I mean, I like just a side of corn on its own. Just the kernels stripped off a cob. My mom will occasionally make creamed corn occasionally, and that's good too. I think it's fine. I think it's very good. There's nothing I can think of that pops to mind that's like corn and that tastes bad. Nah. Cucumber is also S tier. I gotta do it. I think there's gonna be a lot of S tier vegetables here. Is a cucumber S tier? Yeah, I think it is. I think cucumber is an S tier because it's great. It's refreshing. I like the taste. And again, like if there are cucumber slices on a vegetable platter, I will destroy those things. Creamed corn. Creamed corn is a strange delicacy. I don't recommend eating it a lot. I wouldn't say it's like great, but it's fine. And the corns, you don't really taste a lot of corn in it. Yeah, cucumbers are fantastic. Again, in almost every form. Cucumbers are great. Pickles are amazing. I love cucumbers. I could eat a whole cucumber. If you cut it up into little slices and like put it on a plate, I'll probably eat the whole thing. I don't really like just gnawing on a cucumber. For some reason that feels wrong. But when it's sliced up, it's perfect. Edamame. I think edamame beans are amazing. I want to put edamame beans in like everything now. I think they're awesome. Not the full beans, because you can't actually eat these shells. I found that out the hard way. I once ordered a side of edamame beans with something, and I was like, oh hey, this is like a pea pod or a green bean. I'll just take a big bite. And nope, you cannot eat that stuff. It is gross. I don't like it. But the beans themselves are fantastic. I love edamame beans in like a fried rice or a stir fry or anything that you would normally mix like peas or something with. Edamame beans are a million times better. I love the taste. I love the texture. It's like a firm bean. but you get a nice kind of crunch to it. Oh, it's so good. Eggplant. I don't like eggplant. Honestly, I don't like eggplant. I think the taste is fine, but I have never had an eggplant that wasn't soggy. It's just, it always just turns mushy. Every time I've ever tried to cook with it or had it, it's always just been kind of mushy, and I just don't want that. Eggplant parm good. Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, I've never had a good eggplant. Something that I'm like, yeah, that's eggplant. I mean, okay, hold on. We need to,
You finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
Oh, God. Hello, Raiders. Hello, Shakes. Oh, God, it's all gone wrong. No! Sorry, I'm struggling. Random rules, Queen's rules. I didn't see how far you got into, I cannot remember the name of the game now, but I wasn't sure if you were near the end or what. I kind of snuck in for a bit and watched, but it's a game that has a lot of personality. It kind of reminds me of like Psychonauts in that respect. I would probably enjoy it if I would ever play it. I don't know what even I was starting to write there. You managed to beat it. Yeah, I thought you were going a bit long, but that makes sense. Okay. I struggled to do that for a while, but garlic is, of course, garlic tier. I think garlic is... There's nothing I would ever prepare that probably wouldn't have garlic in it. Like, it is magic. Like, there's something about garlic that is just so good in all of its forms that it puts it well above any vegetable that I know. There's nothing that I wouldn't put garlic in, other than maybe like a milkshake. This bell pepper slander. Bell peppers are awful. I hate them. Like, I fully understand that it is a me problem, a bell peppers problem, but I cannot stand the texture and taste of raw bell peppers. They're so gross. I don't know why. I love vegetables like cucumbers that are very, like, you know, watery and everything, but there's something about the bell peppers that just sits wrong on my tongue. Can't do it. I've never been able to. Ever since I was a kid, I hated them. If you cook them, yeah, like it's one of those things that's like, the smaller it is, the more I'm willing to be fine with it. If you chop them right up and put them into a sauce or something like that, or a soup or whatever, fine. If you slice them up and, you know, fry them like a fajita or something, okay, I'm okay with that, but I'd probably prefer something else. But if it's a whole, like, roasted bell pepper, I don't really like that either. I've had stuffed peppers before, and I just usually eat the stuff out of the pepper and call it there. So, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can't. I've had people that will just chop up like an orange bell pepper and eat it like a snack, and I'm like, no, I sends shivers up my spine. Okay, garlic is absolutely on its own tier. It does... See? Roasted sweet pepper stuffed with goat cheese. I also don't like goat cheese. I'm okay. I can get away with a little bit of goat cheese here and there, but like any kind of goat cheese I've never really enjoyed. It's just too sour, I guess. I don't know. It's like a sour bitterness that a lot of like Greek food kind of has. My streaming quality dropped to like 0 kilobits per second for a second there, so I don't know if the stream died for a second or what. OBS was yelling at me. Yeah, I generally don't like a lot of food because it's got goat cheese and feta cheese in it a lot, and I don't like Greek food has a very specific, like it has that kind of sour, bitter taste to it, to a lot of it, and I really don't like that. I don't like bitter foods. Ginger. Does ginger belong with garlic? I don't think it does. I think it has very similar uses, but I would be much more wary of where to put my ginger than I am garlic. Like, I'll put garlic in anything, but I won't put ginger in everything. So I'd be willing to say ginger is an S tier. It's very, very good in a lot of respects. Something Canada dry ginger ale. Represent Canada. I don't know. I had a ginger ale for the first time in like years the other day, and it was pretty good. Oh, jalapenos. Jalapenos is a hard one, because I've only kind of started coming around on them a bit more lately. I can't have that many S tiers. I think I'm going to put jalapenos in A, because they have a very distinct taste that I'm not always the fan of, depending on how it's done. I generally don't like artificial jalapeno flavor, but I like jalapenos themselves on like nachos, or, you know, in, I think I've had them in like pho before, stuff like that. Very good. But I'm not always in the mood for jalapeno. Let's say that. Yeah, I generally like spicy food, so I like putting jalapenos in. Jalapenos can be very spicy. So, yeah, I don't mind them. Kale is D tier. I don't care what anybody says. Kale is awful. Like, you can make me as many green, healthy shakes, whatever you want. I've had them in, I remember having them in like a milkshake before, and it's just, there's just, no matter how hard you work, there will always just be little flecks of kale through every piece of that milkshake, and it's just bad. I don't like the taste. I don't like the texture. There's very little to like about kale. Sure, it's a superfood, finger quotes, but I don't care. It tastes bad. Leeks? You know, I honestly say I don't think I've ever had an actual leek before on its own. Not that I can think of. I'm sure I'd be fine with it. I can't really think of what it tastes like. But yeah, I don't think I've ever actually had a leek. I should remedy this at some point. Lettuce. Really? We're just doing... Okay. Lettuce is A tier. Lettuce is what kale wants to be. Hold on, I'm gonna bump arugula up to C tier, because honestly, arugula is fine. But again, it's like, just, I would rather have lettuce. I love lettuce. I've always thought lettuce was kind of boring, but I've kind of come around on it a bit more recently, weirdly enough. It's very refreshing. I like a good romaine lettuce. I love a good iceberg lettuce. I think iceberg lettuce is underrated, frankly. It's extremely refreshing and delicious. Slap that on a sandwich. Fantastic. Overall, I think lettuce is underrated because people take it for granted. Oh, also, I think it must be seasonal because I can only get it in like the summer and fall, but there is butter lettuce. And it comes in like its own little plastic container, and it's just this like bulb of lettuce that I don't know exactly what it is about it, but it's got big, wide, flat leaves on it. It's awesome. I love butter lettuce. Whenever I can get it, I always get a little head of it to keep in the fridge. And it lasts for quite a while too. I think the last one I had lasted a good week and a half before it really started to wilt. So very good lettuce. I think lettuce is underrated. Not S tier, certainly not up that high, but I welcome it on most things that I eat. Shrooms. Mushrooms are pretty good too. Mushrooms are not a vegetable. I guess, like we were talking about before, culinarily they are a vegetable, but botanically they're a fungus. But they're pretty good. Mushrooms made in certain. There's no bad way to really have a mushroom. I think I've had the many forms and they're all good. I've had stuffed mushrooms. Very underrated escargot. Escargot prepared in mushrooms with like garlic butter is fantastic. I love that stuff. But yeah, sliced on a pizza, they're great. Maybe this is a little controversial, but I don't really prefer mushrooms in salads. I understand why people would put mushrooms in salads, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. I think they belong elsewhere, but they can be prepared in many delicious ways, and I think I used to eat them when I was younger, like raw, all the time. Which I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing, but they were okay. I don't really like them raw as much these days. Maybe that's why I don't want them in salad, but mushrooms are pretty good. Okra. I've always wanted to try fried okra, but never really had the opportunity or know how. I've seen it in the stores. Maybe I'll try it someday, but I would love to try it. It sounds delicious, but other than that, I know that raw okra is not very good, and it tends to really only be good when you cook or fry it. But I would love to try it someday, but have not gotten there. This is getting hard now. This is getting difficult. Where does the onion go? Yeah. I mean, an onion is S tier because, again, it's one of those... I would almost argue that an onion is garlic tier. Because, again, it's one of those things that generally goes into most things that I cook. There's an onion in some form. Lately, I've been on a big shallot kick. I think shallots are also very good. But yeah, onions are fantastic. They go in everything. They have a great taste to them. And even raw. Like, the thing I was debating is that, do I like white and yellow onions more than I like red onions? Different applications. So I would easily put them in the same space. I wouldn't really cook with a red onion as much, but raw red onion is fantastic. Making, like, putting it on a bagel with some smoked salmon and capers, cream cheese, delicious. Absolutely has to be a red onion. In a salad, anything like that, I think red onions are great. Peas. Yeah, I think peas are an easy A. They're pleasing. They're very tasty. Just eating pea pods whole is also very delicious, if underrated maybe. Yeah, peas can be added to a bunch of stuff. They're very good. Like I was saying before, I would rather have an edamame bean than a pea. I would use those instead of peas if I was cooking something. But still very solid. Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Where do we put potatoes? They're quintessential. But how good are they? Boil them, mash them. Gotta be S? I don't know. See, I don't... Potatoes can be prepared in many different ways. There's a billion different ways to make a potato. I get that. But, like, potatoes on their own... Like, I don't really like baked potatoes. Because I think potatoes taste very bland. And again, like, there's 1,000 different ways to prepare it to make it perfect. But I don't know. Whenever somebody trots out potatoes, I'm always kind of like, load those bad boys up. I'll put potatoes in an A tier because I think they're quintessential. They're very versatile, very useful. But I'm not a fan of some of the varieties. Random Star Wars fact. Oh boy. I have to use 1,000% of my brain for this one. Oh, okay. Sure. This is a character that I've been hyper fixating on for a while. In the old Star Wars canon, before Disney destroyed it, there was a character who became Empress, I guess. I don't know if she ever actually referred to herself as Empress, but there was a character who became the leader of the Empire immediately after Palpatine's death. And she was the leader of the Imperial Intelligence, and she had heterochromia. She had one blue eye and one brown eye, I think. Something like that. I can't 100% remember the colors. She was cool. For some reason, I think the fans hated her. I don't know why. I don't remember her stories very well, but I don't know. But she did leave an impression. She was one of several leaders of the Empire that left an impression. She has sadly not been reinvented for canon, but I kind of wish she would be, because I think she'd be a good fit as like a minor enemy in a TV series. Anyway. Imperial officer. Oh, and she also wore red all the time. Cabbage, eggplant, and bell peppers in D tier? Yeah, no, they're all bad. It's all terrible. Pumpkin. I don't think I've ever eaten a piece of pumpkin. Like, I know you can't really eat it raw, but like, I don't think I've ever like had a piece of pumpkin that was cooked either. Unless it was turned into something completely different, like a pie. Or a pumpkin spice, whatever, which doesn't taste like pumpkin. B tier, I guess. It's not something that you really eat on its own very much, but it has a big reputation. And I don't actively dislike it. Radish, I think I can put in C tier. Fill that out a bit. I think they're okay. There is definitely a place for a slice of radish, but I generally don't go out of my way to eat them very often. They're very overpowering. Scallions. See, I gotta put scallions in A tier. I think they are also very, very good and have a lot of, like, a ton of different applications. Like the onions do. It's interesting because like I've heard a lot more people calling them scallions these days, but in my life they've always just been green onions, not scallions. No one ever calls them scallions. They are green onions. Yeah, scallions have a million different ways to use them. They're a fantastic garnish. But on the whole, I don't find I really have as much versatility. They're not as useful as another onion. And they taste, I mean, it's a very different kind of taste. So, they are still very good. Spinach. Spinach. I don't... Everything in the onion family is very, very good. I think, so I said earlier that lettuce is what kale wants to be. No, spinach is what kale wants to be. Because nobody can be lettuce. Nobody can out-lettuce lettuce. But spinach is a very common substitute for lettuce, but it's not lettuce. And I think kale is like, yeah, I could be that. I could be the off-brand lettuce that people reach for when they can't get lettuce. No. Sit down. Anyway, spinach has a lot of great uses. I find it better in cooking than raw. I don't really like a spinach salad as much as just lettuce. Spinach isn't as refreshing. Like lettuce, when you bite into it, it's got a lot of water content. It feels fresh. When you bite into spinach, it just feels like you're chewing on leaves. And I don't like that as much. But has a place. Spinach is good Thai food. I haven't had a lot of Thai food. I've only had Thai, like authentic Thai, a couple times. We don't have a Thai restaurant in town. So it's been a long time since I've had the opportunity. I do like peanut sauce. Any kind of peanut sauce is delicious. Sweet potato. I like a good sweet potato. I'd be willing to at least put sweet potatoes with potatoes, because they're both pretty good. They do very different things. I know people aren't as keen on sweet potatoes, but I like a good sweet potato fry and other applications. But yeah. Tomato. How do we feel about tomatoes? Where do I stand on the tomato debato? If you had asked me like yesterday, I would be like, tomatoes are terrible. I don't want them. I don't want a tomato on my sandwich. I don't want it on my burger. If you're gonna give it to me, cook it down until it's sauce, and then it's good. But a tomato, like a raw tomato, usually makes everything that it touches worse. Specifically raw, because I don't like the wetness of a tomato. I don't like the texture, and the taste is kind of meh. However, a lot of YouTube cooking videos that I've watched have always said, make sure you salt your tomatoes, because it completely changes the way they taste. It really brings out the tomato flavor. And so I was like, okay, I got you. I'll try this out. So I bought a couple tomatoes, a couple beefsteak tomatoes. And today, I haven't been salting my tomatoes. It's not something I've really heard of. It seems weird to season fruit like that. Or vegetable, depending on how you look at it. But as of today, I made myself a BLT sandwich today, and I salted my tomato. And even more than salt, I took a little bit of MSG, because I bought a package of MSG, and sprinkled some of that on there too. And damn if I didn't have the best BLT I've ever had. And I generally don't eat BLTs because they got, primarily tomatoes and bacon as the meat. I don't feel like bacon is a strong enough meat. But that BLT that I had today was like good. Very good. So I don't know. I'm willing to be won over. By tomatoes, but I don't know if I'm 100% there. But they're working their way up. They would have been like an easy C or D tier. But now they're working. They're working their magic. Also, baby tomatoes, not too bad. Make sure they're firm. Yeah, I could see that. Turnip. Yeah, squishy tomatoes are gross. But yeah, like the cherry tomatoes as well. Those are pretty good. I'll usually eat 1 or 2 of those in my vegetable tray as well. Turnip. I honestly don't think I've ever had turnip before. I feel like I know what it would taste like, and I wouldn't be a huge fan. Probably similar in the radish area here, but I honestly don't think I've had turnip. Turnips are good in soups. I may have had it in soup at some point, but nothing to stand out. Zucchini. I'm willing to put zucchini all the way down in C tier. Zucchini has some amazing heart, like carrots or parsnips, yeah. But yeah, zucchini, I've never... Where did my train of thought go? There are ways to use zucchini that are like, you can actually bake it with chocolate. Like, my mom will usually make like a zucchini chocolate loaf, and it's like the zucchini helps keep it very, very moist and rich. It's very good. But on its own, zucchini, it's got the same problem as an eggplant. It just, like, anytime you cook it, it just kind of... it just gets mushy, soggy. I don't want a soggy vegetable. So I'm not a big fan of zucchini. It's got its place. It's also just too big. It's huge. You don't need that much vegetable. I don't care who you are. That's what's great about both of them. Ugh. No, thank you. I don't want a mushy vegetable. Oh, there was the download image thing. Whatever. I'm wrong about everything. Yeah, probably. Okay, what was the other one that I really wanted to do? Okay, here we go. I'll do the edible. I got one more. Encyclopedia of Sandwiches tier list. This is one that I want to do bad because I love sandwiches. Sandwiches may be like my favorite form of food. There's something about a good sandwich that just is transcendental. The best lunch experience you could possibly have would be a sandwich. So I'm very excited to rate these sandwiches. Just like last time, I'm gonna make a... Haven't had. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Fried egg, American cheese, bacon. How hungry am I getting at this point? Not bad, actually. I ate dinner before this, so... Oh, I get mad munchies. I get crazy munchies. Well, I don't have a whole lot to snack on here right now. So, probably a good thing. Because, dang. I will sit down. When I get high, I can sit down with a bag of beef jerky and eat the entire thing in half an hour. It's... Not proud of that, but it's very tasty. Bacon, egg, and cheese. It's fine. A bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich can be very good. It can also be very bad. And generally, if I'm in the right mood, I'll go out of my way to have a bacon, egg, cheese, but it has to be for breakfast. And yeah, that's about it. So it's a good sandwich, but if I'm craving a sandwich, this isn't what I'm thinking about. In fact, no, they can be pretty. Grilled cheese. If I was younger, this would absolutely be S tier. This would be on its own tier. Because there's nothing like a grilled cheese sandwich. But nowadays, I think the grilled cheese merely gets an A. What is this? I don't know where this dubstep music came from. Yeah, I think grilled cheese are very good. But there are better sandwiches. Pulled pork. Pulled pork can be pretty good. Pulled pork sandwich. I may have to adjust my scale down a bit because I think pulled pork is a B. I think I'd probably rather have that over a bacon, egg, and cheese. But again, it's different meals. Like, this is breakfast, but this would be a great dinner. Yeah, pulled pork can be B. A banh mi. I'm very torn about this because I always want banh mi's to taste better than they do. I mean, maybe I'm not going to good Vietnamese restaurants. That could be. There's only one here. But every time I've got one, it just feels like there's too much bread. It's too crunchy. I only taste the vegetables. But the meat is always very good. I'd be willing to put banh mi's up close to S tier. It's a good sandwich. But I think that's where it belongs. Again, if you had asked me a couple days ago about a BLT, I would have been like, that's a D tier sandwich. But a BLT can be very good. I think it's a C tier, though. I think bacon is overrated. A good BLT sandwich is fine. But there's still better. There's a lot of better sandwiches than a BLT. And BLT is getting a little basic for my liking. Italian sub. Cured meats, oil, vinegar, onion, lettuce. Is that going to be... I think that's an S tier for me. A good Italian sub, there's nothing quite like it. It's got to have the oil, vinegar, fresh lettuce, and the like salami, ham, stuff like that. And it's so good. It's so good. Italian sub, first S tier. Thanksgiving sandwich? Turkey stuffing cranberry sauce. No. That sounds disgusting. Well, Okay, I shouldn't say it sounds disgusting, but one, I don't like stuffing. At least not the stuffing that my mom makes. No, throwing no shade against my mom, but I've never liked the stuffing. There's a certain spice in it that's just, it's terrible. I can't stand it. So I don't really like stuffing. So I don't want that on my sandwich. It's kind of what you would do with leftovers, but I think there are better things to do with Thanksgiving leftovers. I personally, that doesn't sound good. Like, I like making buns. I like getting the dinner rolls and putting turkey in there and then put mayo and salt and pepper on it. It's great. But like a whole sandwich? I don't know. And plus, I think Thanksgiving dinner is a little bit overrated. I don't really like turkey that much. I digress. Lobster roll. I've never had a good lobster roll. Which isn't to say that they're not out there, but I've never had a good one, and I've only really had a couple throughout my life. I imagine that a good lobster roll would taste very, very good. But I don't know that for sure. So it's going in B tier. Turkey Club. Now, I was just hating on turkey a little while ago, but honestly, a Turkey Club is an excellent sandwich. The platonic ideal of sandwich. I agree. I would argue that the middle bread is a little superfluous, but it is the sandwich. I'll put a turkey sub or a turkey club in S tier because yeah, a good turkey club is fantastic, especially if it's processed turkey, like a deli meat style turkey. That's a good turkey club. If it's fresh turkey, you're like, shredded turkey, not as keen on that. Tuna melt. Tuna melt is also a very iconic sandwich, I feel, but I don't know if I've ever actually had one. Yeah, I can't think of a single time I've actually had a tuna melt. I've made like a tuna salad sandwich before, but I've never eaten it warm. Yeah, I can't think of a taste profile, so I'm gonna say I haven't had it. Fried chicken sandwich. Yeah, it's the cheese, I think, that gets me too. Anyway, fried chicken sandwich has to be S tier. I mean, fried chicken sandwich is fantastic. It's so good. And there's so many different ways you can make it. A lot of places will make their fried chicken sandwiches and they'll only put like the chicken, pickles, mayo, and that's the whole sandwich. I don't want that. Give me a fried chicken sandwich with like lettuce and ranch and this and that. I ate a fried chicken sandwich. There was a burger restaurant I went to a while back. I ate a fried chicken sandwich there it was a butter chicken burger. And so it was like this giant piece of fried chicken on a black like squid ink bun with like traditional Indian butter chicken sauce on the sandwich, and it was one of the best sandwiches I've ever had. It was amazing. But that's the kind of chicken sandwich I want. I want more than just what Popeyes is serving. Anyway, fried chicken sandwiches, excellent foods. Excellent. I guess this risks it being controversial. Well, not really. I've never had an authentic cheese stick. I would die to try like the authentic cheesesteak places. But I've never had like something like that. I've had a couple cheese things that were called cheesesteaks, but I wouldn't be brave enough calling them a capital C cheesesteak. But cheesesteaks are very good. Cubano. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really had a bad cheesesteak either. I would love to try the authentic thing, but, you know, I'm fine with what I've had too. So Cubano is ham, pork, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard. I mean, that sounds okay. Ham, pork, Swiss cheese, pickles, mustard. Yeah, I mean, that seems fine, but... Actually, yeah, I haven't had a Cubano either. I'm thinking about it now. Like, how would this taste? I don't know. I've never had one. Meatball sub. This, I don't know if this will be controversial or not, but I don't like meatball subs. Don't like them. I just, it's not... If I'm gonna have meatballs, I want meatballs, or like, put them in spaghetti or something like that. I don't want them on a sub. It's just, you get some bites that have meatballs, you get some that don't. It's uneven meatball distribution. I don't want it, and they're messy. No, not a fan. A croque monsieur. I've heard of these sandwiches before. I think I've had one. And honestly, it was... No, I think it's D tier. I don't like these kinds of sandwiches. These are the kind of sandwiches that are like... You cover them in egg and you fry them after you make the sandwich. I don't like those sandwiches. I don't want my sandwich to be like greasy like that on the outside. I just want my bread. So I really like those kind of sandwiches. So both of these, I think, are made that way, and I'm not a fan. I'm sure they taste great, but I just don't. I don't want the outside of my sandwich to feel that way. The croque monsieur is ham, bechamel, ham, bechamel, Gruyere, and Dijon mustard. So it looks like it's just the ham inside the bread and then all the cheese on the outside of it, like melted over it. And yeah, I don't really want that. And the croque madame is ham, bechamel, Gruyere, Dijon mustard, and a fried egg. So, I think it's the same sandwich, but with a fried egg on top. You're getting out of sandwich territory. I gotta eat that with a fork and knife. I don't want to have to eat my sandwich with a fork and knife. Reuben. I'd be willing to put Reuben... think very hard. Yeah, I know people are very passionate about their Reuben sandwiches. They have sauerkraut on them, though. That's not fair. I'm not a big sauerkraut fan. I'm not a particularly great... A Reuben isn't a good sandwich for me. The corned beef tends to be fatty, and I hate chewing on chunks of fat, so it's unfortunate. I would love to rub like I would love to love Reuben sandwiches because they look like they have the perfect thing that I'm looking for, the kind of taste profile, but I don't know. That's not fair. Okay, well here we go. We've got bagel with lox. Bagel with lox, I will absolutely put in S tier. 100%. I think bagels with lox, cream cheese. You need capers with it too, though. Capers and onion, and that is amazing. That is one of the best. I don't think I've ever really eaten it as a sandwich. I usually have it like on the bagel app. But yeah, bagels with lox, like absolutely love that stuff. I could eat that stuff forever. I think I've only had it really once because every other time I've had it, I just use smoked salmon because getting actual lox is hard. Yeah, it's an open face sandwich. The picture is not open face, which threw me off. But yeah, I've only eaten it as an open face sandwich, and it's been fantastic every time. I would love to go to like tomato, the red onion, 100% agree. Tomato, yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I would love to like go to New York and get like an actual authentic bagel with lox and cream cheese kind of thing. That would be amazing. A gyro. Gyro. I'll be willing to put no, because it depends so much what is on it, because it is Greek, so there's a good chance that it might get feta put on it, and I don't like feta cheese. But yeah, the meat is very good. I'd be willing to put gyro and B. They're not that bad, but it all depends on what's on it. But I love the meat. The spiced meat is fantastic. I don't like it. It's the bitter taste at the end. It's like I was saying, that sour bitterness is I don't know. Po' boy S tier. I believe you, but I've never had one. It sounds incredible. Fried seafood, lettuce, tomato, pickles, mayo, and hot sauce. Yeah, that sounds right up my alley, but I've never had one. Never had an actual po' boy. I have to remedy that at some point. Caprice. Oh, I would love to go to a Cajun restaurant. Oh my god. I love Cajun food. I haven't eaten a lot of it, but it's like anything that has to do with that kind of flavor it's great. I love the seafood and spiciness. But yeah, caprice, mozzarella, tomato, basil, olive oil. Caprice. Never had a caprice, honestly. Now that I think about it. Sounds pretty decent. I think I'd like it. Yeah, TT, what sandwich do you recommend? Yeah, I gotta try po' boy. Breaded chicken cutlet, melted parmesan, drenched in vodka sauce. Yeah? Yeah, that does sound pretty good, actually. That probably isn't on here. But yeah, I would be totally down for that. It sounds great. I say with a meatball sub in D tier. The Sinner's sandwich. Never really had a patty melt either. I can approximate what that tastes like, but I don't think I've actually had one. Turkey, strawberry jam, and cereal. Huh. Yeah, patty melt is just a pretentious burger, 100%. But I don't know, something about having a burger on like that kind of bread might hit different. It's from Deadly Premonition. Egg salad sandwich. I'd be willing to put egg salad in C tier because it's kind of a boring sandwich. But no, because when I'm in the mood for an egg salad sandwich, I am in the mood. I could put egg salad in B tier. Every now and then, it's like I need the taste of egg salad, but an egg salad is pretty bland. I don't know. I'd be going with a B tier. For the most part, it's not something that I would be thinking about all the time, but when I'm in the mood, yeah, it's great. French dip is, at least for me, an A tier. They can be... They're very good. They tend to be a little bit messy. I don't think I've ever eaten one and had a clean time. But the jus that they come with is... I could live for that stuff. I think there are better sandwiches, but I will always have a good French dip. PB&J. It's the classic, but I really rarely reach for a PB&J. House-made horseradish sauce? That sounds good. I don't eat a lot of horseradish, but I probably should because I've liked it every time I've had it. Is PB&J a C tier? It's perfectly fine. Does the job. It is iconic. But how often am I going out of my way for that? I guess I could put it in B tier. Because it is one of those things that's like, when I want it, it hits exactly the right spot. But for the most part, I'm a meat sandwich kind of guy, so PB&J just doesn't quite do it for me all the time. It is historic for, child culture, absolutely. It is probably the first sandwich that most people learn how to make in North America. But overall, I think it's a bit overrated. Torta. Steak, beans, lettuce, tomato, avocado. I can't read the last thing. I don't know what that is. But I don't think I've ever had a torta. It sounds good. A roast beef sandwich, I think. A really good roast beef sandwich is very good, but a French dip is better. But the roast beef has to be cooked perfectly. Like, no question asked, the roast beef has to be cooked so it is not dry, because dry roast beef is the worst. It is the French dip without the au jus. It's absolutely true. And they can be very good, but that jus just really changes everything. Oh, what is this? Jambon beurre? Beurre? French ham and salted butter. That's pretty simple sandwich. I would I've never had one. I guess I didn't. That doesn't really sound like it should be its own sandwich because that's just two things. But you know, maybe it has to be on like. It looks like it's on French bread, so that makes sense. Maybe there's something there, but it's a little weak. The jambon furé is French ham and salted butter, and that's it. Which sounds okay, but it is a little basic. On fresh bread, that could be pretty good, but technically speaking, I've never eaten one. Also, I've never eaten a tonkatsu sandwich. I would love to. I would absolutely love to eat one of these things. I don't think I've ever seen one before. Maybe if I went to like an Asian supermarket, I might find something like that, but generally speaking, I'm not running across these very often. But I would love to eat one of these. They look amazing. That thing around common radius. Yeah, every time I've seen one, I'm just like, oh my god, I want that. That sounds amazing. Monte Cristo. Ham, turkey, Swiss cheese, fried and served with jam. I gotta put this in the same D tier as the other fried sandwiches, because that's the other one too. That's just like, no, I don't want this. It tastes good. I'd be willing to bump it up a bit because I've had Monte Cristo sandwiches and they can be pretty good. But again, it's fried on the outside, so it's all greasy, and I don't want a greasy sandwich, and I don't want to eat a sandwich with fork and knife. I'm a strange person. Ham and cheese. I'd be willing to put ham and cheese sandwich in A tier. Hear me out. Ham and cheese is for me kind of like a quintessential sandwich, much like the Clubhouse. But it is simplistic, but it's very good and it can be made extremely well. Yeah, ham is fantastic. I love ham. A good ham and cheese sandwich is worth a lot. I think there are better sandwiches. Do I? Yeah, I think there's definitely improvement to be made upon a ham and cheese, but I think it can stay there. Falafel S tier. I've only had falafel a couple times. I've gotten like pre-made falafel you just heat up at home, and it's been okay. Yeah, I'm willing to put falafel pita up there because I've had them before. They can be very, very good. And it's fairly different from everything else we've got up there. It's a very different kind of... I wouldn't really call this a sandwich myself. That is a pita. But I digress. They'd be very good. Chicken salad sandwich, I'd be willing to put in C tier. Overall, I think an egg salad sandwich is better. Chicken salad is... I personally like chicken salad. But I think in a sandwich form, I'd rather have it... Well, I don't know. I generally don't eat either of these things unless it is a sandwich. I don't think it's as good as egg salad. Veggie and hummus? Uh-oh. Cucumber, tomato, avocado, carrot, sprouts, and hummus. That doesn't sound the best. I don't think I would enjoy that sandwich. I enjoy all of those things, but when it's just that for the sandwich, I don't know. It feels like it's gonna be missing something. Hummus is good. Maybe that would provide the balancing factor, but I don't think it would. Bologna sandwich. I think a bologna sandwich has got to be down here. Again, it's fine, but I generally only eat it when that's all I have. And I like bologna. Don't get me wrong. Bologna has its place. A good bologna sandwich, some mustard and cheese, it's amazing. But overall, it's a bit of a sad sandwich, even if it is a little ubiquitous. Italian beef, roast beef, green peppers, and what? Oh, giardiniera. Sounds good. Never had one. Although it is a little bit kind of like it's like a cheesesteak without cheese. Yeah, very much so. Overall, I'd probably rather have the cheesesteak, but still, probably a good sandwich. Kentucky hot brown. Turkey, bacon, tomato. What kind of sauce? I don't know. It looks like it says Monday sauce, but I don't know what that is. Moray sauce? I don't know. No. I don't really like hot sandwiches either. Like when you put like a burger patty on a piece of bread and pour gravy on it. It tastes great, but it's just, I feel weird sitting there calling it a sandwich and then eating it with a knife and fork. It just doesn't sit right with me. And so yeah, I'm not a fan of those kind of sandwiches. That one looks weird. Bocadillo. What? So, it's, what does that say? Jamon? Jamon? I guess, is that a type of cured meat? I think it is, but it's jamon and the bread rubbed with cut tomato. And that's it. I don't know about that. I don't know. Like, I'm sure that's a strong kind of cured meat. It's got a strong flavor, but like, you just rub the bread with tomato. You don't put tomatoes on it. That's weird. I don't like that one. Yeah, I'm gonna step away from the bocadillo. Liverwurst. Honestly, never had liverwurst. Cucumber tea sandwiches. Man, those look good. I think cucumber sandwiches can be pretty high on the list because I love me some cucumber. Love me a good cuke. And just season with like some salt and pepper. A little bit of mayo. Very good. I think I've only had them like a couple times in my life, but I've always been blown away. They're very good. So definitely better sandwiches out there, but I feel very strongly about having at least an A tier. No, I had to add a title. Sandwich. Where are we? Can't remember if there was any other food and drink things I wanted to do. I mean, there's a lot of them. Soda, cereal. Yeah, I think it's time to move away from food. An anime tier list. Anime and manga. Hold on. There's an anime category and an anime and manga category. One Piece characters. That is going to take hours. Actually, it wouldn't, because there would only be about 10 of them that I could recognize. I did a Bleach character tier list at one point a long time ago. That's the only one that I would really feel comfortable with actually knowing people. Other than, I guess I could probably do Dragon Ball too. But, I don't know. So many of these are just generic anime tier list. Anime tier list 2022. Like, sure, I don't know what most of these are. It's a little wasted on me. I'm a bad anime watcher. I don't watch very much of it. One Piece waifus. Very specifically. I was looking for a One Piece character tier list, but I don't know if I see one. I may be blind. Really? Oh. And I can always just do this. Oops. One Piece characters up to episode 1055. Even if I knew who all of these characters were, this would still take hours. Yeah, I really only know up to like around here-ish on a quick scan. I'm gonna run away from that one because I don't have a full enough picture. What has been ranked thus far? We did fruit. This is how the fruit tier list banged out. Notable upsets, perhaps cherries. Orange in C tier. Lime in S tier. Maybe that's a weird one. But I think that's pretty good. A vitamin C tier. Yeah. I just think they're overrated. We finished up the vegetable tier list. Figured it was only right to round that out. Notable, the garlic higher than everything else tier, which I thought was only appropriate. There's very little food I won't put garlic in. And yeah, everything else was ended up with a lot of. I realized I like a lot of vegetables. I always thought I was kind of down on like a lot of vegetables, but it turns out no, I like quite a few of them. They're very good. Maybe the upset so far has been the bell peppers in D tier. I don't like bell peppers. And then we just finished ranking the Encyclopedia of Sandwiches. So ended up with some interesting ones. Reuben down in B tier. Only because I've never really had a good one. And I don't like sauerkraut. Italian sub up in S tier. One of my personal favorites. And the D tier is mostly just kind of weird sandwiches. I guess maybe meatball sub is a surprise, but I don't really like meatball subs that much. And that's where we're at. figured we were gonna take a break from food and do something else, but I don't know what exactly. Can't remember what other of these that I wanted to do. Follow tier Darths. You know what? I wonder if there is best Darth Vader. I don't think there is a best Darth category or tier. I should rectify that. Sith is the word? Oh yeah, maybe it's best Sith. Ultimate Sith rankings, legends. Oh man, so much of this is just from the Old Republic, which are characters that I don't know. Yeah, this is like, no, there's Grievous, I guess. He's in there. No, that's too much. Canon tier Sith list. Again, a lot of characters I don't recognize. But you know what? We'll run with it. I know enough of these guys. Exar Kun. I have read these comics, and Exar Kun was, I mean, he was the original Sith. Cool, kind of cool, but he founded the whole thing. He wasn't that cool. I like him, but he was kind of a weird nerd. Ulic Qel-Droma was the Jedi that he seduced to the dark side. I never really liked Ulic that much. They both get reference in the Knights of the Old Republic games. I don't know who that is. Darth Traya is probably S tier for me. I think she is a fantastic character and companion for the game. Darth Rev is right up there with her, obviously. Darth Malak, I never really liked Malak that much. I'd put him in B tier. He was kind of, he was a nerd. He looked silly. Before he had his, like, lower jaw blown off and had the cool replacement, he was a very silly looking man. Darth Bandon. Get out of here. Get out of here, Darth Brandon. Darth Nihilus, I adore Darth Nihilus. He is an amazing character. Darth Scion was kind of boring. Interesting concept. Holds himself together through sheer rage. He's basically a walking corpse. But, out of the 3 Sith Lords in that game, he was the one I was least interested in from day one. Darth Vitiate? Vitate? I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Darth Malgus. He's important in the Old Republic, but I don't really know who he was or what kind of threat he posed. I don't know you. Darth Phobos. Don't know you. Darth Ruin. Sorry, bud. Dark Underlord. Darth Riven. Not Darth Revan. Don't know you. Don't know you. Don't know you. Oh boy. Don't know you. Ajunta Paul. I vaguely know you. You get D tier just because I know your name, but I don't know anything about you. You're better than Darth Brandon anyway. Don't know you. Don't know you. Or Dromica. Lord Khan sounds familiar, but I don't know who that is. Lord Kasem? E.C. Kasem? Darth Bane. He was the original, like, founder of the Sith, or he was the one who came up with the rule of one, or the rule of two, whatever. Where there's only two Sith Lords, one master, one apprentice. He was the one who coined that whole thing. So he's important. But he always felt kind of lame. I don't really know that much about him. I'd put him in C tier. I think Malik was a more interesting character than Darth Bane. Don't know you. Darth Zana. Don't know you. Don't know you. Darth Millennial. It's all those Darth Millennials buying their avocado toast. Darth Vectivus. These are characters I made up when I was 13 years old. Darth Geen. Darth Guile. Darth Ram. I thought that said Darth Rampage, but that says Darth Ramage. I don't know. Darth Tenebrous. Darth Venomous. Sorza Sin. Okay, here we go. Darth Plagueis. Or Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis is like a joke. I'd put him in A tier because he is... I mean, have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? For meme potential alone, I think Darth Plagueis is an A tier. Darth Sidious, I mean, Sheev is absolutely an S tier. Sheev Palpatine was the most influential person in the galaxy for like 30 years. I think he deserves to be up there. Darth Maul, cool, but not S tier. I really like what they did with him, bringing him back when he was in Rebels, and I really like the send off that they gave him in that show. And yeah, other than that, I think he's a little overrated. Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku. Oh, he is so... Count Dooku he's gotta be S tier. He's so extra. Like, Count Dooku is like the most Saturday morning cartoon villain, I think, out of all of these guys. Yeah, I think he's gotta be S tier. Asajj Ventress. I'd be willing to say Asajj Ventress is in there. I never really watched much of Clone Wars, so I don't know a whole lot about her, but from what I know, she's got some following in the fan base. Savage Opress. that just reminds me of there's a Twitter post or something where somebody is like saying that they couldn't believe that George Lucas had any kind of subtlety after naming Darth Maul's brother Savage Opress. He's pretty silly. Again, I haven't watched Clone Wars, but I have heard that like their arc with Darth Maul is really cool. I'd be willing to put him in C tier just for the name. I really don't think you can pull any higher than that, Mr. Opress. Darth Vergeer. I remember him. Again, he's going with Ajunta Paul because I know that name and I know that face, but I don't know anything else about them. Darth Vader is S tier, absolutely. No question that Vader isn't up there with the best. Lumia. Okay, maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I like Lumia. I'd be willing to put her in A tier. But I know there's a lot of people in the fan base who really hate her and think she was one of the worst characters in Star Wars. I don't know. I like her. She uses a light whip, which I think is cool. It's ridiculous and it makes no sense, but it's cool. Plus, I like Lumia in the fact that she has a different approach to like the Dark Lord of the Sith, in that she works alone, and she is more interested in like pursuit of knowledge. I think is her main thing. So, I like Lumia. It is very optimal Star Wars tone. She's also an old character. Lumia's been around for many years. I don't believe she is canon anymore, although she is on this list. So, oh well, they still have a killer on here, and he's not. And Darth Caedus. Okay, so these are old canon characters. So Lumia's not really around anymore. Maybe they'll tap that storyline at some point, but probably not. I can't even read this guy's name. Get out of here. You look like a Lord of the Rings character. Dark Star Killer. Star Killer is one of those characters I don't think about very much. I never played the Force Unleashed games, but I don't. He doesn't occupy very much brain space. Assuming that is, in fact, him. That is the same character. It may not be. Darth Caedus. Again, I don't know a whole lot about Darth Caedus. He is Jason Solo gets corrupted by Lumia and he becomes Darth Caedus. But I do remember the fans absolutely hating that at the time. Like a lot of people consider him like the worst Sith Lord ever. So I'm not willing to put him any higher than an E tier. Darth Crate. I hated Darth Crate. He was so stupid. So over the top. He's this guy, this jacked dude. He's like Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Decked out in spiky armor and just like... I think he could turn into like a beetle or something with his armor. He was weird. I didn't like him. Darth Strife. No, I don't know who you are. Darth Malachi? Can't read your name. Darth Run. Come on. Darth Nile? No. I remember this guy. I don't know anything about him. I'll put him in here. Because he was the same species as he's a Togruta. But he's got like the Sith markings and red skin. Very striking image. Darth Talon. I don't know much about these characters. These are like the old future Sith, like 100 years after the Star Wars movies. And the Darth Crate, this guy, and Darth Talon were all part of that. So I never read comics, but so I don't know much about her character. I'm not willing to put her that high, but Darth Talon is kind of hot. Not gonna lie. I gotta respect that a bit. It is ridiculous because they basically drew her in that outfit pretty much all the time, but I mean they played up for it. She's a red Twi'lek. That's the most rare skin color. I should stop talking about that. I read this as Darth Weirdo, which I'm willing to put you there. Mark Ragnos. I'd put Ragnos up with Exarchun because they're all related. Marco Ragnos was like Sith before Exarchun, I think. Same with Ludo Kresh. All of these guys were. These are like the original Sith Lords. Ludo Kresh, Nagasato, Frieden Ned. Ludo Kresh, I remember your name. I don't remember anything else about you. Nagasato, you were around. Same with you, Frieden Ned. You were kind of important, I guess. So, yeah. The result is a lot of people I have never seen before. That's it. Alright. What else? Toward the bottom, I remember thinking about too. There's so many different categories on here. Could probably do Warhammer, maybe. Star Wars has its own category. Mega Man, I could do. Oh, I think it was Lego. Lego themes. I think it was the Lego themes. But I think these are all Lego themes that were beyond my time. I need like old school Lego themes. Nope. All past and present Lego themes. There we go. There's a lot of stuff in here, man. Trying to find ones. I'm trying to find like some of the actual old ones, but this all still okay. Lego Racers, that's an old one. Lego Basketball, I remember that very briefly. Yeah, this was all Exoforce. I think I remember Exoforce a little bit, although that was Technic stuff, and I never really played with that much. Jack Stone. Looks terrible. I remember these guys. The underwater like research team. My brother and I had the big research base play set. I remember that set very fondly. That was from when I was pretty young. They discontinued it when I got older. Aquanauts, yeah, that's what they were called. Yeah. They were awesome. It's kind of depressing how many of these are just like licensed movies. It's all just licensed properties. So many of these sets, they don't have any originality to them. Oh, Lego Kingdoms, of course. The old school, any of Lego medieval stuff has always been good, like beginning to end. I think they still have medieval Lego sets today. I don't remember what set it is exactly, but actually I think this might be the new one, because this is the old one. Because it's got the old school wizard and the dragon. I had like 3 of those dragons when I was young. That was like some of the first female... Some of like the female Lego minifigs who had like... There was a witch character who had a big long dress. So she didn't really have legs. She had like a long block instead. It was funny. But yeah, those were some good sets. Me and my brother had a lot of those ones. I think these are the ones that also introduced the Lego skeletons, which I love those ones. But they phased out the ghosts because my brother had like an old school Lego kit that had the actual glow-in-the-dark ghost Lego minifigure. But when I was a kid and I was dealing with all of this medieval stuff, none of them had ghosts. They all came with skeletons. I had like 40 skeletons. But none of them came with ghosts. But then the ghost came back. So everything is as it should be. I don't remember the name of this set, but it was the like Arctic explorers on another planet. These are where the orange chainsaws come from. It was a pretty solid set, pretty decent. I enjoyed it. I think me and my brother had a few of those sets. We definitely had some of the orange see-through chainsaws kicking around. All of their equipment was like that too. It was all that orange color. It was weird. Bionicle is obviously S tier. Bionicle, I think, got less cool as it went on. I am still a fan of the original Gen 1 Bionicle. But I never really followed it that closely as a brand. Like, I didn't watch the show and see the movies and do any of that stuff. So, probably could have been a lot cooler, but I had a lot of fun with it. Vikings? No, that's after my time. That's really old. I don't know which one that is. Rock Raiders? I remember Rock Raiders. They were cool. Where was it? Mindstorms. Mars Mission? I don't remember that one. I mean, Star Wars has always been one of the best Lego themes ever. Since they first got licensed, I think Star Wars was their first licensed theme. And that started the trend, basically. Yeah, it's incredible. Okay, here he is, right here. I remember the aliens. Yep, I absolutely remember them. Yeah, Rock Raiders, these guys, they were cool. But I remember those aliens too. But I don't see them on here. It was a lot of like neon green pieces. Maybe it's this one. Because I don't know which other one that is. But yeah, that one was cool. However, there were 3 themes. Pharaoh Quest, is this the one? This was before they had licensed themes, but they very clearly wanted to do an Indiana Jones, so Lego made up their own version of Indiana Jones. And I don't remember what his name was. It was like Bunny Adventure or something like that. And they had this whole cast of characters, and it was all set in the desert, and there was like the Pharaoh minifig and all kinds of stuff, and there was a big Sphinx and the hot air balloon, and clearly like, okay, this is coded as Indiana Jones, but with all the file names rubbed off. And I got way into that set. I remember being like, this is awesome. I liked it because it wasn't Indiana Jones. It was like, okay, this is its own thing. These are stories that I can tell on my own as a kid. I was a kid. So they did this whole set of them in the desert, exploring, trying to find like the Pharaoh Ruby, and then they stopped. Then they released a new set of the same characters, but in a jungle setting. And that's this one. So now they're in a jungle with like crocodiles and, you know, rope bridges and stuff. And it's like, okay, still doing Indiana Jones, but it's like now they're riffing on some of the other adventures. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, let's keep going. I love these guys. That was getting to the age where I was kind of growing out of it a little bit, so I don't think I actually own any of those sets. I think they did a third one too, which might be this one. There was a third one where they like discovered a bunch of dinosaurs or something. That one started getting a little weird, but it was all the same characters, and they all had different versions of themselves with different equipment and stuff. I don't know. I'm a sucker for stuff like that, so I enjoyed it. Yeah, the rest I don't really have too much of an opinion on. Oh, I think this is the Western. I remember the Western one quite a bit. Some unfortunate stereotypes in that one, but we're gonna move on. Lego City has been around forever. I don't know which one this is. This might be their original Ninja set. Like before Ninjago was a thing, they released a Lego Ninjas set or theme where there was gray ninjas and there were black ninjas and there were red ninjas. And I think there was green ninjas and they were all different colors and they were all like ninja clans at war with each other. I like that one too. Or no, they were like battling samurai, I think. I think it was like samurai and ninjas were the two factions, and then they fought. That's the idea. A lot of the themes were kind of built that way. The medieval ones were the same. It was like you had your good guys and you had your bad guys, and then they would fight each other, make up your own scenarios. Which I think is something that I've always enjoyed. Because they're providing the framework, like a sandbox to work in, and then I can make my own stories out of that. I really appreciated that as a kid. Elden Ring, Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know what you would possibly rank in Dungeons and Dragons classes, I guess. Hollow Knight bosses might be fun, but I can't remember all of them. Oh, I can't remember their names. No, that won't work. Let's see. Books, board games. Could potentially do board games. Anime, I just don't think I know enough. It is weird that this particular video game has its own category. It's not just Bleach. It is specifically the game Bleach Brave Souls. And it has its own category. That's wild to me. I am not going to do a tier list of Civilization. That feels like a very bad way to represent anything. That is very easy to do a racism in that one. Oh, thanks. Ranking Dungeons and Dragons should be split between Ranking Dungeons and Ranking Dragons. You know, I can get behind that one. Homestuck. I could always do a tier list of Homestuck in which I know none of the characters. Oh. You may have lost me for a second there, if I'm back. I just got a notification that I was... OBS had disconnected. Not really sure what happened, but yeah, that is odd. I still have a bitrate of 0 kilobits per second, so I don't 100% know if I'm actually back yet, or if things are just kind of happening. It hasn't split the recording or anything like that. Upon viewing the stream, it seems it is frozen. What is going on? What is going on here? Yeah, it says I'm offline now. Curious. Where did my connection go? OBS, get back up there. Okay, I think I'm back now. Don't know what happened there. Just got disconnected. OBS popped up and said, "You've been disconnected." And it took me a while to come back, but bitrate is back up. I'm back. I'm alive. I have the cat in my lap. Toby has deemed it necessary to be in my lap at the moment. Movies. Oh, Monster Hunter. That's one I wanted to do. Okay, Toby, you gotta go. Monster Girl tier list. I don't think that's should be in this category. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that one just in case spoilers for you, PO. Iceborne. Okay, yeah, I can do this. I think. Oh, there's a few of these I don't recognize. Okay. This is Glavenus, I think. Glavenus was pretty cool. Actually, yeah, I like Glavenus a lot. I don't know if that's the regular. I think that's the regular Glavenus. I think the other one is probably in here somewhere. I don't know what this one is. Because that's not like the final boss one. Is it? Because I thought that was... That's Nergigante. You're on here twice. That's this one. This is the final boss monster, I'm pretty sure. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know who this is, so I'm not going to rate them. Anjanath is pretty good. Pretty iconic. Pretty cool. But did get a bit overused, I think. Overexposure. I still like him a lot, but yeah. This is Rathian. I'm gonna put Rathian in C tier. I think it's a bit overrated, and I do believe Rathalos is a better wyvern. This was the big guy from the ice area that I think threw big logs and stuff at you during the fight. He was cool. I think that's the one that you were talking about the other night in PO a while back that they should bring back, because he was awesome. Barioth. Banbaro, yeah, I think that was his name. Big Moose Elk. Barioth is a B tier. I liked him more when it was like a new, fresh thing in World, but I have since fought so many of them that I don't care anymore. Barioth. I think Barioth is honestly D tier. I don't mind him, but I don't like fighting him. Just kind of a boring monster. Basil Juice. Basil Juice should be a cool monster, but honestly, probably C tier. I don't enjoy fighting him. He was everywhere in World. I would be okay with never seeing him again. This is the Final Fantasy Behemoth, I think. I didn't actually fight one. I don't know. I don't like crossover. Also, it was a really hard fight. Like, really hard. I never actually finished it. Juriatitos? Ugh. If I never had to see another one of those, I'd be fine. Black Diablos. I'm gonna put both Diablos up in A tier because honestly, I like them. They're hard. They hit very hard and they're difficult fights, but I like Diablos as a monster. I think it's classic. That's Valhazak. That's the Valhazak variant, which Valhazak for me is S tier. So this thing would be too. I can't wait for the day that Valhazak returns because I love that dragon. It was so cool. My favorite. Brachydios. It's got exploding hands. He's an A tier. Pretty cool. Is that Tigrex? No, that's Tigrex. This is the variant. I like Tigrex. Honestly, I think I like Tigrex more than I like Brachydios. So I'll put them in A tier. This is the Puke Puke variant. I don't like Puke Puke. I don't mind the variant. They're not my favorite monster in the world. I fought a lot of them in World especially. But they have their place. This is just a giant pickle. That's a Devil Dojo. Devil Jojo is absolutely S tier. Because he is the angriest monster in the universe. Just a giant dinosaur that is fueled by rage. What's not to like? What the heck is your name? Dodogama? I always liked Dodogama. He was silly, but he had a heart of gold. Oh, this is maybe I can't remember which one is Glavenus's real colors, but they're both pretty cool. This is the Odogoron. Odogoron? Yeah, that sounds right. That's the variant. I liked them, but they were very annoying to fight. Especially as an arrow, bow and arrow user. That one was a little rough. The Electro Anjanath, I always liked him. I was sad. I was sad when they didn't use him in Rise. I really thought that he would show up after a while, but it didn't look like it. Yeah, Odogoron was very cool. I'll put them up here. I remember having some trouble with them because they just wouldn't sit still, but I did enjoy them and I miss them. I'd like to see them come back. Gold Rathian? No, is that... No, that's Gold Rathalos. I'd rather have the original. The gold and silver variants are cheesy. Where is Rathalos? There you are. Rathalos is definitely B tier. I see him a lot. Not my favorite monster, but out of the pair, I think he's cooler. Oh, this thing. It had like the big snake face and the fangs. I like that thing. Yeah, actually, I like that thing a lot. Pretty much all the monsters in that, like, under cave with all the decaying bodies and stuff, they were all good monsters down there. Rotten Vale. Yeah, I love that place. The Great Jagras. He is great. It's in his name. Oh, that wasn't Juriototus. This is Juriototus. Who are you? I don't know who you are. Coral Highlands are really neat too. I miss that place too. Kieran, just a horse. Kieran is... I like Kieran, but Kieran is a bit lame. The Ice Juriototus. Right. Yes. Yeah, it did have a different name. You belong together. Kuluyaku, he's a classic. I love him. Oh, what was the name of this thing? Kulvetera? Kulvetera was cool, but very annoying to fight. I only actually did it like once or twice, I think, with you guys way back in the day. And that was it. What is your name? Kushaladora. I don't think he's S tier, but I think he's easily an A tier because he's kind of like the original Elder Dragon. I think he deserves a high spot, and I like Kushaladora's design and the armor that you get. The armor that you get from Kushaladora is always awesome. So I like them. This is another fish. Oh, this is the lava one. They were all unfun fights. You guys can all, the fish can all hang out together. Legiana, I like Legiana. I think other people hated them because they were always airborne, but for an archer, it was pretty easy to fight these guys. So I liked them. This is like the other half of this. I have no idea what these things are. Oh, I bet this is the Witcher. Okay, that makes sense. In the Witcher DLC, those must be the monsters that you fight. But I never did that DLC, so I don't know what those monsters are. So they gotta go hang out down there. This is the Teostra variant, I believe. Yes. So based purely on Monster Hunter World, I like Teostra's design, but in Monster Hunter World, I could not fight this monster on my own. This was like, this and Nergigante were like the two that I could not do by myself with a bow and arrow. So for that reason, I'm gonna put both Teostras. I'll put them in B tier because they're the cool Elder Dragons, but I hated fighting those things. I hated it so much. Same with you, Nergigante. Lunastra, that's who it is. Um, that looks like a kraken, but I don't know what that is, so you're going in there with the rest. Whoa, Nargacuga. Yeah, Nargacuga's an A. He's cool. Cooler than Barrett. Because he makes silly panther noises. The weird sea slug one. Don't remember that one. Oh, I think about this guy all the time. Amio. Oh, right. It had all the lights on it. I do remember that fight. God, I don't remember anything about that. I'll put it in B tier because it's got a cool design, and I remember the lights. It's like a pitch black arena, and there's all, it opens its wings or whatever, and there's lights and everything, and it's really cool. I like that. These guys, I'm not surprised, but I would have liked to see these guys come back too. The Paolumus. I love these. I'm gonna put Paolumu in S tier. I always enjoyed fighting those things. They were funny. Pink Rathos, I think this is. No, Pink Rathian. This, because that's this one. This is the original Rathian. What are you? Oh, you're a blue Rathalos. Okay. Yeah, I'd put them there. Rathian and Rathalos are both kind of in the same area, but they're colored variants. The pink Rathian and blue Rathalos are meh. Especially the pink. Pink Rathian is a weird, very specifically weird monster that keeps coming back. And then their gold and silver variants are just dumb. Who was this? I remember seeing this icon, but I don't remember what this monster looked like. I think it was one of these. It was like a Barioth variant. The Tar guy. Because I remember Urugon. He's got the Thanos chin. I thought he was cool. Now I'll put him in B tier. He was alright. Raban? Yeah, it could be. God, yeah, I don't remember anything about him. Rajang is S tier. Because he eats elder dragons. Radoban. Okay. Yeah, the name rings a bell now. On the tier list, I would say, yeah, I would consider Urugon, or yeah, I think his name Urugon, as the higher tier in the Barioth family, or the Barroth family. God. This is the Super Nergigante. You're even better, because you're even... The regular Nergigante fight was hard enough as it is. This is just dumb. I remember people complaining about that too back in the day. Seething Devil Jojo, obviously S tier. It is just a more angry Devil Jojo. I keep saying Devil Jojo. That's a screen name of somebody on Twitch. It's just embroiled into my brain. Devil Joe. There's one Joe. It's just so fun to say. Seething Basil Juice would be higher if they were not as ridiculously common as they were. I don't remember what you are. This is the the Iceborne final boss, which is a gimmick fight. Yeah. I'll put you in B tier. Just because of it's a very silly design. Which reminds me, I should put, Xeno'jiva is the other one I'm gonna put in C tier, because honestly, it's a very gimmicky fight, and it's just long, and not really that interesting. This is like a space alien dragon that shoots lasers. I don't know. Could be better. The Legiana variant will go up there. I don't remember what this is. Tobi Kadachi. I've always liked Tobi Kadachi. I'll put him in S tier. My cat is named after him. This is the Ziziyaku. Not as cool as the original, but I enjoyed the camera flash ability that it had. Very silly. That is... Oh, that's Velkhana. I always liked Velkhana. I thought Velkhana was a very cool elder dragon. Tobi Kadachi variant, not as cool as the original. I like the white fur and the gray and blue skin. Don't really like the sequel as much. These are slightly different monsters, but I don't know what they are. Not sure. This is Zinogre. I don't know if I ever fought Zinogre in World. I like him. I'll put him up there. The variant, yeah, you can go too. Zora Magdaros. I could go the rest of my life without hearing about Zora Magdaros ever again. I mean, it gave us the memes, so it's got to sit up here, at least with whatever this thing's name was. I can never remember. But as far as how cool of a monster it is just like a big walking volcano, which is kind of cool. Just a walking landmass, but I don't know. It was a bit underwhelming. The other monkey. Fine. Brachydios can go in there. And this looks like just a dragon. That might also be a Witcher thing. Potentially with these as well. Put all you down here. And yeah, there we have my Monster Hunter tier list. I don't think there's any real... Just a dragon might be Fatalis? Maybe. It would have been another DLC or something, an add-on that I never played. And yeah, this one is just the same monster, but one has like a scar and part of its head crest missing. I think. But yeah, I don't think there's any real upsets in here. These are all monsters that I would... Looking at my S list, a lot of these are monsters that aren't in Rise. Like Great Jegris, Paolumu, Deviljho, Valhazak, Lavinus. Like almost all of these guys are not in Rise. Weird. They did add Velkhana recently, though. Which I appreciated, because I like Velkhana. Yeah, most of the other ones that are in the game. I guess Legiana's not. Like I said, Nergigante would probably be higher if it was any easier to fight with a bow, but it is quite difficult. I couldn't do it anyway. I think the Monster Hunter Rise ones, yeah, that includes some spoilers, so I won't go there. And those are the only 2 Monster Hunter games I've played, unfortunately. Products. Chair. Chair tier list, let's go. Oh my god, these are so many chairs. Who had this many chairs? No, that was too much. Polish snacks tier list? Hell yeah. Me and all my Polish snacks. Sauces. Okay, we might have something here. Maybe, we'll see. This just looks like a jar of Tabasco sauce. Which I'm gonna put in C tier. I like my hot sauce. Tabasco sauce is got too much punch to it, I think. I don't really like the taste of it. I haven't had very much, but not my go-to. Salsa is D tier. It's not literal doo-doo, but it's D tier. I don't like salsa. Just slimy and wet. I'm not a big fan. I have had good salsas, but generally speaking, like your traditional tomato salsa, I'm not a huge fan. What is this? This Italian dressing? Okay, I think. Assuming this is Italian dressing, I'm gonna put it in A tier because it's very good. It was my salad go-to dressing for quite a while, and I like it. I still like it. It's like that kind of vinegar and oil kind of taste to it. It's actually pretty good on sandwiches too. Along those lines, but yeah, it's very good. Soy sauce. Soy sauce is one of those things that I used to like more when I was younger, that nowadays I don't like it as a sauce. I like putting soy sauce on sushi, but just a bit. I don't like to soak it and dunk it into sushi. Because there's a certain threshold that's like soy sauce tastes good up until a certain like saturation point in my mouth, and then after that it's like, this is disgusting. So soy sauce is a moderation thing. Chunky blue cheese. I'd be willing to put the blue cheese in B tier. It can be very good, just like soy sauce. It can be very good, but there is a point at which it's like, this is too much. This is too funky. And yeah, it can be easy to overdo it with the blue cheese. Whip. That's not sauce. Whipped cream. Honestly, I could go the rest of my life without eating whipped cream again, and it'd be perfectly okay. I don't know. It doesn't add anything to me. It's sweet and light and fluffy, but it's just, I don't know. I don't really like it on pie. I'd rather just have the pie on its own, or at least if I have to have a side, I'll have ice cream. But the whipped cream is just, not a fan. Vegemite, never had it. I don't expect I would like it very much, but I've never had it. It has been described as literal doo-doo, but I don't know. I think there's something to it. There has to be. But I've never tried it before, so never been brave enough to go down the Vegemite Express. What is this? Caesar? I have no idea what this is. Assuming it's Caesar, then it's pretty good. But I genuinely cannot read that label, so I don't know what it is. Ketchup. This is where the controversy starts. I think ketchup is an A tier sauce. Or I certainly don't think it's an S tier sauce. When I was younger, absolutely. But like now that I've gotten older and I've developed my palate a bit more, I don't put I put ketchup on nothing anymore. I don't put it on my burgers, I don't put it on hot dogs. Nothing. So I don't know, I can't vouch for it anymore. Not in the same way. I think I'm gonna put it in B tier. I think it is widely overrated, overused, and there's better things to put. Pretty much, yeah, the only time that I use it is to maybe like dip fries in if they're particularly bland. But even then, it's like, unless I have a ketchup packet with me, I'm probably not really gonna think about it. Sweet relish. I think sweet relish is a C tier. It only has like one usage, and that is either on burgers or on hot dogs. And that's it. That's all you would ever use sweet relish for. I've had it. I've kind of grown used to it. I kind of like it. But for the most part, you don't need it much. Bad. But you're probably not going to be using it. This looks like teriyaki sauce. Teriyaki sauce is pretty good. I'm gonna bump Italian dressing up to S tier then, because looking at the rest of these, I don't really know what is gonna be an S tier, but teriyaki sauce is definitely an A tier. I love teriyaki sauce. Yeah. Hershey's chocolate syrup. Is that a sauce? Yeah. Chocolate milk is good, but the last time that I've actually had chocolate syrup is, I guess, probably like on ice cream or something, but on its own, it's been many, many years, and I don't think I need to go back. This is Jack Daniel's. I'm assuming this is a barbecue sauce. Just barbecue sauce in general. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about barbecue sauce. The one, the stupid tier list about sauces is ending up being very introspective. Okay. Barbecue sauce has its place. I'm gonna put... Do I dare? Yeah, alright. Chocolate syrup I'm gonna put in D tier because it's just... It doesn't taste like chocolate, it tastes like chocolate syrup. It doesn't... I don't feel good eating chocolate syrup at all. So, sure. Barbecue sauce I'm gonna put kind of lower down because I'm honestly not that much of a fan of it for the most part. Also because I ate it a lot growing up. But I don't know. I guess it's places, but I don't know. Mustard is probably S tier. A good mustard, any kind of mustard really. Yellow mustard, Dijon, deli style, hot mustard, honey mustard. They're all good. I use mustard on sandwiches pretty often. But yeah, it's good. It clashes with the like the sub sauce style oil and vinegar kind of thing, so maybe not at the same time. But it's very good. Wasabi. I don't like wasabi. It's not even that like I can't handle wasabi, because I can. It's very strong, but I don't like the taste of it. It's a very, I don't know, bitter. It's got a kind of bitterness to it that I don't like. Marshmallow fluff. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that I'm always like, maybe I'll develop a taste for it, because when I first started eating sushi, I would always put the strips of ginger, pickled ginger, on the sushi and eat it all at once. And I stopped doing that after a while. I kind of developed a taste for the sushi itself. But I never really did that wasabi. I didn't eat it a lot, but it's, I don't know. Yeah, I do like some horseradish now and then. Marshmallow fluff, I think, is a D tier sauce, because I don't consider that a sauce at all. No. Maple syrup. Okay. I am Canadian. So there's a thing that, like, I've noticed that when a lot of people talk about putting syrup on pancakes, they say the words maple syrup. But maple syrup is a very specific kind of syrup. Like, it is made from maple trees, but it has that maple taste to it. I actually prefer a, like, butter flavored syrup. Like your Aunt Jemima's or whatever like that. It doesn't really have the same maple taste, which I think is what I like. I honestly don't know if I really like maple flavoring that much. It's just, it's very, very sweet. Like a back of the mouth kind of sweet almost. And so, for me, on my pancakes and waffles and whatever, I will choose like a regular sugar-based syrup rather than maple syrup most of the time. It's a very strange distinction to make, but it just drives me crazy when everybody is like, now we're going to put some maple syrup on it. I'm like, is that maple syrup? Is that what you're talking about? Or do you mean something else? I don't know. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Ranch. Ranch has got to be S tier. Ranch is good everywhere on everything. It definitely gets overused quite a bit, but I love it. I love dipping things in it. I had some chicken strips earlier today that I dipped in ranch, and they were delicious. Um, yeah, it's fantastic sauce. Apparently it is more of a apparently it's ranch is more of like a an American sauce because I have heard that like you go like in North America there's ranch on everything. But apparently if you go overseas that's not really a thing putting ranch everywhere, which is interesting and curious. Ranch is a very good sauce. Revoking your citizenship. I'm just saying, I don't know. It's the maple flavor is too sweet. I don't know what to say. Nutella. Nutella? I can't remember which is the correct pronunciation. I think it's Nutella. Or I think people outside of America call it Nutella, and everybody in America calls it Nutella. Anyway, Nutella is pretty good, but it has like very, very specific uses. I wouldn't put it in S tier because it's like it's spread on bread, maybe with like honey or something, or it's being put into a baked good. What is this? I'm assuming that must be like Worcester sauce, which is very good. Again, extremely overpowering. It's real easy to use too much of that stuff, but it is good. Okay, mayo. I'm gonna put mayo high on the list, but it kind of depends on what kind of mayo. If you're just talking about like Hellman's mayonnaise, that stuff is decent. In my household, mayonnaise was very often just that like a Miracle Whip salad dressing. It has a very tangy and sweet flavor. So that's kind of what I was raised on, and I thought mayonnaise was for the longest time until I found out that no, that is not what mayonnaise is supposed to taste like. Not by a mile. And so in more recent years, I have swung much harder onto the regular mayonnaise side of things. I think that tastes better on a sandwich, in a sauce, an aioli, whatever, what have you. I think that kind of tastes better. But Hellman's is okay. But the Japanese mayo is like 1,000 times better than that. Like a Japanese mayo is S tier, 100%, because it's. I'll make a sandwich and just put Japanese mayo on it, like the Kewpie brand, and I won't put anything else, and it's fantastic. It tastes great. So when mayonnaise is good, it's very good. And I'm assuming this last one is sandwich sauce, which is it's okay. It has its uses, but like you're really probably not going to be using this unless you're making a matzo burger, which is also a Canadian thing. Well, gonna go ahead and save that. Sauces. Very saucy. I think it is getting a bit late. Oh, perfect timing. My wireless headphones are dying. So I gotta go plug those in. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here, I think. It's starting to get a bit late. It was a interesting. I felt like I was talking a lot, but I don't know. When when you're high, your whole perception of time changes a lot. Um, so that was a weird night, but I enjoyed it. I like doing tier lists. And nothing horribly went wrong, so that's a plus. But now I feel, well, I can tell my headphones are going to die shortly, and I can feel the big. I can feel the tiredness part of my high creeping up on me, and it's like, oh boy. Um, and so I still need to get need to eat something before I go to bed at least, because I can't really. I don't think I'm really that hungry, but I got munchies, so I'm gonna deal with that. For the time being, we are going to. I gotta get out of here. Headphones dying. All right, we're gonna raid Wordsy. He's playing. What the heck was that? Slay the Princess. Bit of a late night stream, but hey, we'll go give him some of our time, and I'll be back for more Baldur's Gate on Tuesday. Maybe something else somewhere in between around here, but we'll talk about that when it happens. For now, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.